Hello, everybody! It's the third installment of the Aura Fury Overwatch Draft Tournament. This is October of 2024, and we have a little bit of an interesting tournament this time. Instead of four teams facing off, eventually getting to a finals with two and best of twos first to or best of threes first to two rather. We're gonna have a one match between Team Bowser and Team Blank, both pretty seasoned veterans of this tournament, have gone to all the previous and have performed well. We are going to have them face off in a best of five, first to three. So we are going to see kind of, I guess, a clash of the titans, so to speak. And with me today, we have Amber, who has been also a veteran
Hello.
of these tournaments. Go
Mhm.
ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Amber. I am not a high rank player, but I like watching it and I like talking about the game. So I'm going to be co-commentating today. I'm excited.
Excellent. And also great to have you here. Thanks for pinching in when we need you.
Great to be
So
here.
we're looking at who's here, and we're seeing pretty much entirely familiar faces. Bowser and Blank, we've already talked about a little bit,
Hmm.
but Yuri Eater, Delta Jaden, Dr. Necrosis have been to either one or all of the tournaments prior.
Hmm.
Shay, Ender, Festus, and Rico have all been in the tournaments before.
Hmm.
And it's really only Aspen who I don't recognize, so kind of the only wild card. But each one of the players I've mentioned before are seasoned, well performing, and great to have around. And I'm
Yeah,
wondering
absolutely.
how the captains are going to build around uh, these players.
I'm curious about that too. I think each player needs to focus on playing the things that they're good at while also trying to balance an actual comp. Because obviously you can't just run down with like three different comp ideas.
Hmm.
You got to have some cohesion, but at the same time, some people are better at some heroes than others, and I think it'll be interesting to see what they can come up with.
We see Li Zhong as our starting map this week, specifically for Control Center. Is there any composition style that you tend to prefer, that you would hope to see out of the teams here?
Hmm. Well, it seems like it seems like we're seeing it, but yeah, I was gonna say brawl. I usually play brawl a lot on this map. Whenever I'm a tank or DPS, I tend to try to keep pace and try to make sure that I'm getting in there and beating people up as much as possible.
And do you have a preference of the two brawl comps that we're seeing here? We see kind of a more traditional Mei rat style, kind of close range, a lot of
Hmm.
supportive DPS, and then we see a ranged DPS line with the other Reinhardt comp.
I think the range is definitely an interesting idea, especially with the Widow. I mean, Widow obviously has really high pop-off potential, and I think we might see some of that if she can get in a good position, which seems like she's trying to.
We see the Ashe also here in a good off angle,
Oh,
but that Mei wall cutting off
yeah, Maywall
any
doing
help
great
the
job
Ashe can
there.
provide.
Ash is all alone over there. It's been unfortunate for her. Oh, does manage to get Blink, though.
Not necessarily the best trade. Obviously, you just want to be able to get out, or maybe you just
Hmm.
die quick. But I mean, taking someone with you, and especially like a huge healing resource of the team, might allow your team to push in with your BAP Juno. That is more
Hmm.
healing and a huge speed resource with that hyper ring.
Hmm. It does mean that Blink's team has to wait quite a bit before making any engagements.
See that hyper ring engaged right now. The BAP's finally back. The wall to separate the supports. Juno's over to get over the top of the wall. Looks like Bowser's in a little bit of trouble here.
Ooh,
Shay gets the better of him.
very nice.
This looks like
Oh, the rat
another
coming around.
one team fight for what I will dub Team Bowser was carried off of the request from Blank.
Of course, of course.
Pretty
Seems like
quick
chat's hidden
reset
from
though.
me as well, so I'm not sure how to. Oh, dunk on the flank. Gotta be
See a
careful about that one.
red hyper ring used, but
Hmm.
Blank going down on the BAP. Dr. Necrosis getting two picks here.
Very nice.
We got Rico, who's been a threat in a lot of these tournaments. See a Shatter.
Absolutely. Two-time champion, I believe.
Dr. Goes getting a third pick. Jaden picking up a fourth. Aspen getting the last. See a
I'm not sure
Bob
if the Bob
dedicated.
was necessary, but it does help keep them away from point for a little bit.
And you see like the trade too. I mean, this is not really traditionally a crazy point for Bob. But we do see a trade of the Shatter. Junk getting a pick on the BAP early, that's going to be a huge advantage.
That's huge, yeah. But at the same time, Bowser's team also did manage to grab
To get the
back
trade.
piece, which is huge.
Looks like Shay kind of caught off guard here. Shatter not getting anything.
Gets
Looking
blocked,
for a fire strike.
unfortunately.
Able to pick up the
Oh,
rat
found
with
one.
the orbital ray. This Ryan's just going crazy. Bowser picking up, looking like 3. Good fire strike on a blank.
It was a very well-timed orbit as well, because the Reinhardt would have been in serious trouble without the with the Maywall there.
But they did get the flip before all that happened, which means that entire time, no percentage getting built by Bowser's team, which is important for the longevity of this point.
Yeah, if anything, Blink's team wanted that fight to go as long as possible.
Exactly. We're seeing a really good ultimate economy coming up from Blank's team. This BAP window is probably going to use to start off this fight. There's the window.
Yep,
Ryan trying to make space with that hyper ring. Finding the back line.
Oh,
May able to get the Ryan isolated.
Oh, almost saved, but not quite.
Looks like Matrix used. Juno and BAP just trying to get out now. Don't really think there's any
Seems like they're
room
not
to
able to
recontest
escape.
here.
Yeah, I think that's going to be first round.
Orbital ray used. Just kind of
Yeah,
icing on the
just
cake.
I would say that was a good first round. Definitely, I think the first game of a tournament is always one of the scarier ones because it's got to be. I mean, it can just set up so much momentum for one team, you know. Not to say that comebacks can't happen.
Yeah, absolutely agree on both fronts in that these are the nerves. This is when the players are gonna look the most shaky. They're having to learn each other's preferences and play styles a little bit more. But as the tournament goes on and we realize, is this comp working for us? What can we change? What can we alter? Kind of the timings of engagements, being able to trust one another. How does that all work out? And then we're gonna see most likely more cohesive play as we go further on. You see a sim swap.
Yeah, this is a. I was just about to talk about the change on this one. We have Rekko going over the Widow, which historically has done very good on the Widow on this map, but oh, gets double rocketed though.
We see Dr. Necrosis on that Pharah, who's gonna be pretty uncontested for a while. Finding a way into the back line, probably gonna kill the sim here, not unless the Juno and the BAP have something to say about it.
Okay, Echo gets out just barely. Echo's back on the high ground. Gotta be careful about that one.
Looks like the sim TP was able to get everybody on point. The Pharah wasn't able to make too much noise in the back. We see a swap over to Doom to maybe just disrupt this front line, realizing that with a Sim, it's going to be a lot harder to get anything done on Ryan.
Yeah, Sim just kind of eats Ryan shield for breakfast, especially.
See,
so I do like the Doom swap.
Yeah, it looked like the Doom attempted to get an early pick there, but then got caught by the pin of Shay. Was then able to help confirm the kill after Doom hit the wall. And just staging their dive now. Looking for a target, waiting for Necrosis to get in position. Both tanks on the floor.
Nice.
And there goes Doom again. So that is the disadvantage of Doom without a ton of support when Doom hits the ground or becomes immobile. Doom does not have the largest health pool in Overwatch, unfortunately.
He also really needs somebody to like take attention, and if the rest of your team doesn't have the capacity to take attention, Doom gets like a lot worse because suddenly everyone's looking at you all the time.
We did see Rekko pick up a nice early kill onto Aspen's Juno.
Also swapped over to the Cassidy as well.
Finally forced off that high ground. Finds Pharah in the side room. Finds Echo too. Isn't able to get a pick on either of them yet. And they're still trying to find their footing as the blue team. See Juno taking some space with the Orisa. Orisa forced to pop 4 to 5 just to get off the high ground. Should kill the Alari here. Not in time. Being able to get the
are back capping, but I don't know how well that's going to work for him.
Kiriko finally
Oh.
helping with the Ryan, getting the pick on the Pharah. Now you gotta kill this Echo. Echo transforms. Orbital Ray still out. They weren't able to kill the Alari.
Yeah. Team Bowser just kind of falls apart in the face of the what is it, the orbital duel.
Yeah,
Very good game though.
A pretty close game, especially on that control center round. And we're seeing really
Absolutely.
the power of the Orbital Ray. I mean, it didn't really see... Juno saw some nerfs, sure, but the Orbital Ray didn't really see any changes between the patch.
That's a big part of what makes Juno like so... Well, I say flexible, I'm not sure if that's quite the right word, but it's part of what makes Juno so easy to slap on a team is because, I mean, incredible utility with speed and incredible ultimate.
Yeah, and it seems pretty quick to get too. Like it is similar to Ana in that if you just keep healing your tank, you will get it pretty quick. And if your tank's at full health, it's also fairly easy to land those shots. It's a pretty reliable gun, as well as it does a decent chunk of damage, provides a decent amount of pressure, and you're mobile enough to stay out into open space for a long time and rely on your tricky movement to get you through.
Yeah, and I would say one of the only things that's a little iffy about the ultimate is it's just its movement speed, how fast it moves forward. Which on one hand does mean that you can push with it, sort of similar to Kitsune Rush, but it also means it can tend to run away from you pretty quickly into some space that you're not controlling. Which I think that's one aspect that makes that ultimate skill base. I think is you need to make sure that you can go up and take that space.
Yeah, it's very much a positioning ultimate, and it puts you in a weird position as the team that's getting affected by the orbital ray because you do have to keep pushing with the ray. You do have to maybe get out of your comfort zone if you're a Widow, or if you're a Tracer who goes too far ahead, then you are losing the effects. And then the same thing for the defending team. Like you are most of the times forced to kite back, wait until it's safe, similar to that BAP amplification matrix.
Right, yeah.
Or maybe, like you said, the Kiriko ult, just finding a place of safety, play outside of its area of effect. Or, similar to maybe Kitsune or even like a Cassidy ult, pushing through it and just running straight at it, staying where the orbital ray started, so that if you can keep the fight there, the orbital ray will eventually pass the team, and maybe you won't have to hide for as long or withstand through the added effects of that ultimate. But
that's a big thing for Simwall as well. I mean, if you just push the enemy team out of like position to play it, it does nothing basically.
And as you say that, I think about it in my mind, like the combination of Sim and Juno does seem kind of natural, in that Sim just wants to slowly push forward, has that kind of brawl capability. Obviously can teleport, but other than that, no real movement ability, so you're just kind of walking at the same pace as the orbital ray while your gun's charging up, you're chunking down tanks, you're applying a ton of frontline pressure, and you're relying on your tank to keep you up so you can keep dishing out that damage, while also having a Juno behind you where if you do need to catch up to the enemy team, you still have that hyper ring ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we might actually start to see more Symmetra being played in competitive, which, I mean, usually Symmetra is just a teleport bot, which is unfortunate, but I think we might actually start to see her a little bit more because she goes really nicely with Juno in general, I think.
Great shot onto the Tracer. Does end up dying for it, but we love a headshot. I do think this map will lend itself to the Widow and Ashe a little bit more with these long sight lines to neutral, but also having to duel an Echo and a Tracer can't be easy. Very maneuverable.
Yeah.
Gonna use these tight corners on this map to survive for a really long time, as well as come out of nowhere and deal as much burst damage as they can. But if Versus keeps getting shots like that, I would be scared if I was Festus on the Tracer.
Absolutely, yeah. And it also seems like it seems like Blink's team is opting for the double speed comp in the support duo instead of it seems like Aspen has also switched over to this as well.
Decided for the mirror, and it is interesting that you mentioned that. It is traditional that maybe you go Brig or BAP or someone that can complement the speed of Juno, but this is just all out speed. It's taking these spawns and running out of them as fast as you can to get back into the fight. And maybe that means we're gonna see more fights, or maybe it just means this added pressure of the red team is just gonna keep compounding and maybe end this map quick, because we're getting already close to the first point capture. It's really just the Lucio contesting right now.
It's definitely a team that likes having momentum, for sure. Because, I mean, you know, it's difficult to look at a Reinhardt going 200 miles an hour and go, yeah, I can deal with that.
Yeah, it's usually the one thing holding him back is his lack of speed outside of the pin, but yeah, you have Juno and Lucio.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's hit speed cap, but that's very fast. That's definitely enough to chase somebody who's not expecting it in the enemy backline, for sure.
Definitely. We're seeing Ashe getting kind of just cleaned up here after Ender does get killed by the Lucio and the Ashe.
Ooh, Lucio gets caught out, unfortunately.
Yep,
the push continues.
Dying embers of that previous fight contest. This looks like maybe 2 more team fights left, depending on when the blue team takes an engagement. But we see an orbital ray and a beat, a pulse bomb, kind of fishing right now. See a huge shatter from Bowser, able to pick up the mirror and Ryan as well as blank on Lucio. Ashe been able to get a kill on Reason.
At this point, the fight is all but won. Now they have a chance to hopefully push, hopefully take up space.
It looks like Bowser's gonna opt to swap, maybe onto Orisa.
Maybe.
Deciding to go back into Mop. Oh, we see a beat here early. Just to duel the Ashe. Didn't hit anybody with it. Oh yeah, swap's actually onto the Roadhog. I like that swap actually, because if you're just gonna be shooting at this Rhine anyway, you might as well have a gun that's better at it, as well as a way to heal yourself in this lower healing comp.
Yeah, and also, you know, every now and again you can just pick one of the supports and go, hey, you're dead.
Exactly. Especially if you get a hit on that Juno, that's gonna apply a ton of pressure.
Absolutely. Because they'll lose
Pulse goes
one
wide.
of their more flexible speed points as well.
Beat comes in, saves the life of the Cassidy. Blank's gonna try to get out now.
Very good time.
Gonna kill this Echo here. I think Will probably get out. Back at full health.
Essentially, yeah. Reinhardt playing a dangerous game here. He's pushing in, but seems to be putting him on
there
the
it is.
back
That's the reason for the push, is that orbital ray. Jaden's still getting 2 picks on the backline, now 3. Really just going wild here on the Ashe. Might pick up 4. Bowser able to get that kill with the hook.
Very important flank from Jaden there. Absolutely got them that fight.
Looks like Ender was able to find some sort of shelter, but not anything actually fruitful, as they get late staggered by the Lucio. Just for a hook on the Genji around that corner, isn't able to pick up anything. Probably just gonna set up on this corner now.
Very scary though, that hook is it's definitely gonna have to make them play a lot more careful.
And we see an orbital ray online for Yuri Eater, just trying to keep Jaden alive. Can't do it with the anti. We see that Ana swap now coming in. Ana Juno, not a terribly popular support line, but has seen some use. See a shatter, kind of hitting nothing. Looked like it was trying to hit both the Cass and the Hog, but found the sweet spot where you hit neither. It's the hyper ring to get everybody out of here. Cass probably going down. Oh, huge beat.
Uses
coming
beat.
in. Isn't able to get the Juno.
Ooh, very big pick on the Juno there.
Genji getting low here as well. Cass is able to find a hit on him maybe. Gets back, healed back to full. Reason going crazy in the backline on this Tracer. Finds the stick onto the Cassidy.
Oh, nice.
Now this is just how long can the Hog contest. He's able to get a nice hook onto Festus. Finds the Hyper Ring. Dies.
Hog finally goes down, yeah.
Yeah, I think without a Juno, this Hog is now kind of at the whim of the Ana of Blank.
Yeah. I can definitely see the reason why they switched to Ana, because now they can focus a bit more on, instead of playing anti-rush, because, you know, you can tell the other team isn't really focusing on that much, you know, anymore. They can focus on getting a bit more healing output, you know, getting utility, especially for the Hog. I mean,
He's about to go with the blade here. Gets The hinder onto
Seems
the
like
Genji,
it.
but the Genji's able to live through it, kill the Bap,
Gets
kill the
3.
Ashe. Now it's just,
Easily
can you
taking
get
that
the
one
5?
home.
Looks like Blank wants to take it. I don't think anyone's going
Mhm.
to swap onto a hero fast enough to get out of spawn.
The Reinhardt emoting on point. I do like the confidence. And that is a full push on Coliseum.
Definitely most likely going to see this Genji Blade as play of the game with the Nano.
Hmm.
Good adaptations by both players to realize, well, if they have a Hog, let's go Ana. They have no Kiri, and if we just build Blade with Nano, then the Cass is going to fall, the Ashe is going to fall, Bap's going to fall.
Yeah, especially the I mean, just the general team comp for that didn't really have a whole lot to deal with the Nano Blade.
No, definitely not. We do
Hinder and
see
Hooks are the best.
Pineapple King show up, who I do believe is a sub for Bowser's team.
Hmm.
So we'll see if that sub goes through. If we see if they pick a different type of map. We think I see Li Zhang and Coliseum as both very brawl capable maps. And
Hmm.
although it looks like Team Bowser is willing to play the brawl, looks like Team Blank is just quick to figure out how they want to play it and
Right.
how they're going to execute on it. So
Right.
maybe instead go to a dive map, Dorado.
Maybe both of these teams seem very experienced with Brawl. I mean, like you said, Dorado or maybe what's the name? Um, Watchpoint
Watchpoint
could be good in
Gibraltar,
maps for.
Paraíso. Yeah.
Could be good for dive. Obviously, if they want to stick with what's been working, that works too. But um,
Does look like they're going a map that I've seen Brawl play, specifically like Space Station Gaming and a couple of the other like famous Brawl teams. But Ilios, I don't necessarily see it as a definitive Brawl map. I think most controls are kind
right.
of hard to say that is a control, like that is a dive map, that is a poke map, that is a Brawl map, just because of how diverse the sub maps are.
Yeah, for sure. Like Lighthouse is a lot more. I would say Lighthouse is a lot easier to play poke into.
Agreed,
There's
agreed.
just so many. Like there's only like one or two like directions that the team can come in from. So as
Where
long as
we
you
are
can block those
now,
out.
well, I see a lot of dive or hog comps.
Hmm.
And then Ruins is also, I see poke, I see brawl.
Hmm.
Mostly dive though, specifically with like a widow.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dive has a lot of cover to take in ruins.
An interesting Ruins, like the first hero to come to my mind when I think Ruins is widow, and they took out Doctor Necrosis, who was their widow. So I'm
Who
wondering
was
if they have a
yeah.
plan for that map, or if it just Pineapple just
Hmm.
got here, so maybe they're like, well, we'll just take somebody off and just maybe it's just that
Right.
simple. But it looks like they're going double flex support hyper dive here on the
Seems
side of
like
Bowser,
yeah.
which it doesn't look like they will be all that phased on the side of Blank's team. They also opting for Doomfist and Tracer and Lucio and all these other dive characters.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like the idea that Bowser has with the team. You sort of, I think the Juno might struggle a little bit because you just throw out one speed ring and then you
Where do you
just
go
gotta
with
wait for
it?
them to come back to you. But
Yeah.
and Blink's teams, that's a good idea too. We've seen Rekko do really well on this map in particular with the junk, and I'm actually kind of surprised that we don't see a Roadhog or really anything like that. An early pick on the bar, by the way.
Yeah, a double flyer. It's gonna be interesting because you have Kiriko who can dedicate healing to one of them, but really gonna find a tough time focusing down both. Rekko able
Yeah,
to
for
just
sure.
barely get out of here and chunk down the monkey.
Oh.
Kiriko next to fall.
Hmm.
I like them swapping back over to the Genji that they were showing in the beginning because I think Juno has a lot easier of a time healing Genji than Pharah, while
100%. Yeah.
definitely the Kiriko can focus healing the Doom or Monkey like earlier in the Echo. Right now they just seem a little scattered on focus, which playing against a Junkrat can definitely do that to you. It's very much the theme of these events. We see Lucio go down,
Absolutely.
pushing the enemy Doom deeper into your team. Not always a bad idea.
Mm.
Alright, able to get two
Seems like they
picks.
got rewarded for it.
Now they just got to get healed up. move in with abilities.
Absolutely.
Finding the junk in
Junk
this
hiding in
room.
the corner there.
Junk
He
able to
is
die.
not
Great
able
beam
to
by the
escape.
Echo.
Absolutely.
Tracer found by the Echo. Does end up dying.
Lucio's being a real problem, and Doomfist managed to get back before they can before they can secure point. Excuse me.
Yeah, these fast heroes coming back, it's like you kill 2 or 3, but because of how quick everyone is, it's ultimately not mattering.
Yeah, they come back so quick that you just sort of it almost feels like nothing happened at all.
See Junk with a tire here, getting a nice kill onto the Genji.
He's gonna go for the tire. He's gonna find anybody.
Getting the Kiriko off the map. This is just going for the hog. Does a lot of damage.
Chunk, but
Ultimately, just gonna charge the hog ult.
yeah, pretty much. Make it so Hog has to wait a little bit, I suppose, but he has to anyway, because the rest of his team is done. I'm not sure if they can get to point fast enough. This Genji might be able to sneak in.
Not with all this damage they're just walking into.
Yeah. Well is a really hard point to walk into.
Yeah, that was the most one-sided it's felt thus far. Yeah. Maybe the guess I had in between maps of try something that's not Brawl just isn't working. Oh, I see a little bit of a disconnect. I see that the pineapple. Maybe I do remember hearing that player had a little bit of internet issues, and this is why they're so late. So I'm gonna swap in Necrosis and see if I can't figure out what the issue is.
Mm.
And maybe
it is good that this happened before the fighting started.
Yeah, that might also have been attributing to the one-sidedness, as you know, I'm sure it's difficult to play if your internet isn't reliable, and that might be,
True.
From what I'm hearing, the case of what happened to that player. Who knows if it started during the match or if it was just then, but either way, we're gonna swap Necrosis back in. So we just got, I was questioning the decision of taking Necrosis out for what I would consider a Widow map. But looks like they're back in. But opting
they're
to
playing Ana,
play
though, yeah.
Ana and have Aspen, who was previously on support earlier in this map, swap roles. I'm not gonna question it. They're technically not
they got an
against
idea.
the rules. So
yeah.
See Jaden on the Widow, dueling what
This
I've
is
now been told is
helping...
Rico. So we're gonna see this Widow duel. Rico finding Jaden early, but Reason getting the pick.
They managed to find a venture. Ooh, Rico wins the duel though.
Both DPS getting involved there. Looks like kind of just going crazy in the backline now, knowing that there isn't a damage to really stop you. They're just going after the team. Essentially
and
killing
this
Bowser.
Hog isn't able to do quite as much disruption as I think he's hoping.
We do. You see the Lucio getting picked, which is at least a start.
That is kind of big. Yeah.
You see the swap over to the Orisa off the Hog. I think that's a fairly decent swap. I think when you're getting hit by Doom as Hog, it does sometimes feel like you're not able to do anything to the Doom, and then Doom's not really able to do that much to you, but that's a better trade in Doom's sense, because Doom can get mobile. I think Orisa can stop Doomfist. One of the few heroes that can, but you just have to hit those javelins.
Those javelins, try to stand in front with a fortify.
Able to actually pick off the venture before they go underground. Maybe able to, Yuri Eater and Bowser able to team up to get 2 picks here, while Aspen gets a pick onto the Lucio.
They had a bit of trouble pushing into that Widow, though.
Yeah, interesting that it happened to the Brig of all characters, too. You'd think maybe with the shield up, but if you're just caught unaware, it can happen to anybody.
Yeah. Especially with Widow, you drop your shield for a second, and you could be going back to the spawn room.
Oh, and Lucio and Somber just in the backline, just getting kills. They were finally able to get the point, and by the time they got there, there's a Widow shooting your team as you pass through.
Yeah, the loss of the Brig means the Sombra is pretty much uncontested. The Sombra
Yep.
and Lucio basically
Lucio
just
hears
go
that
in for
death
free.
too. They just both go into the back line together, and now they're just getting spawn held. If they don't get a pick quick, they're going to be very similar situations last time.
Yeah.
We're seeing Widow taking
Sombra
a
having
moment go
a.
here, trying to get another early pick onto the Brig, maybe the Cassidy.
Mm,
But again,
seems like they're backing up and giving a bit of space to the Mauga, but.
it's like Aspen's going to attempt to touch here on the Sombra.
Mm.
Found by
Sombra
the
having to be a
Widow.
bit more careful because of the new Sombra changes. Otherwise, couldn't quite find that pick on Widow, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's kind of a neutral duel. Sombra just kind of hiding, doing damage where she can. Widow trying to land the headshot but couldn't. And all the while with that distraction onto the Widow that the Sombra was able to do, the blue team's able to actually capture and push them off a point, which I would argue, at least with the new Sombra changes, is probably, you know, the best you can ask for.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just drawing aggro away from a super valuable DPS pick.
Taking a lot of pressure off the rest of your team.
Going into the back line early, maybe trying to meet the Sombra there so they can do a pinch engage.
Unfortunately, the Bowser's team does lose the Sombra duel. We're gonna have to be careful about.
Very close, but now without either healer. I know Mauga can heal himself, but not through not through an orbital
Yeah,
ray.
not through orbital damage boost for sure.
That should get the last pick here on the Brig, maybe.
Yeah.
That is a swift 3-0.
Absolutely.
Which I think puts their records at even. I don't believe Blank was a part of the winning team in the first tournament back in August, and Bowser was, and then Bowser won this last one with Blank on the same team. So now I think they're both tied 2-1 on wins.
That's very impressive. And
maybe
I believe Rekko has only been a part of 3 tournaments, but has been on the winning team for all of them.
I also think that's true. I think the only person to have done that.
So far on a hot streak, we gotta make sure we get a team in next time that can maybe make that challenging to keep up.
Yeah, hopefully here too in the next one. I want to potentially, I'll see if I can conjure this, but ask Rico to operate a team and see if, you know, kind of put a bounty on it, you know, like can you beat the superstar and their team and see if that's something that might draw up and, you know, some rivalry and some competitiveness. But either way, good job to both teams, everybody who showed up and came out and played their hearts out. I know it's a new patch, and I ultimately was just excited to see everybody play and see these two teams go at it, and then the new Halloween skin of the Lijiang map that I snuck in there for the first one was very intentional.
Yeah, that one was fun.
So, but yeah, thank you everyone who was watching. Thank you to the players. Thank you to Amber to helping me cast, and thank you to everyone else in the community.
Thanks for letting me cast today. It was really fun.
Yep. Anytime. This is Amber's first cast with us, and if anyone listening is interested in the same option, it is as simple as just being in the right place at the right time. I might just reach out to any of you, or if anybody reach out to me, you know, we're just happy to have anybody give it a shot. It's pretty casual, a lot of fun, and we're just here to enjoy some Overwatch. So that is us signing off, and I hope to see everyone again come November for the next draft tournament.
Absolutely. See you guys later.